Today's update has surprisingly touched on the ancient Rotlands and the Starkindred, so here I am with my umpteenth Starkindred lore video. Here we go again. Regardless, the crux of today's update revolves around a new random event and enemy combatant you can find roaming the Rotlands. They're called maljurers, and they look like withered Starkindred NPCs, with one shriveled up wing and a collar around their neck. These collars actually resemble the Starkindred halo, perhaps in a cruel mockery. Regardless, we'll circle back to these NPCs in a second, but it's the weapon they drop that's the key to their backstory. This is the Kindred Edict, and the maljurers wield it against you in combat. The description reads as follows. A blade forged from pale metal recovered from celestial crash sites by Starkindred artisans. Nearly weightless, this type of blade is a staple in the West among adherents of the faith. Once one has spilt enough of their own blood in service of the church, they are bestowed a weapon thrice bathed in the sacred ichor of a celestial. There's a couple interesting things here. It was pretty obvious, but this is hard confirmation that the Starkindred Church has access to more than one celestial crash site. It's not just these celestials that are crashing down though. There's this pale metal that's crashing down alongside them, which is being transformed into these blades by the Starkindred. There's a lot of possibilities as to what this metal could be, but it's safe to assume that this is likely some sort of building material that the celestials were using in the heavens. There's also the names of the new NPCs, maljurers. We can split this name into two, leaving us with mal and jura. Mal is a common prefix which simply means bad, evil, or wrong. Jura can also mean a person who takes an oath. Hence, we're left with someone who's taken an oath and is bad, evil, or wrong in some context. Based on their appearance and some of their dialogue talking about punishment, I'd say there are two distinct possibilities as to why the maljurers have turned out this way. The first possibility is that the maljurers are people who have made bad on their oath, explaining the name, and are thus being punished by the Starkindred Church in some way. The second possibility is that the maljurers are simply Starkindred veterans, hence the weapon that they're holding, that are being withered away for some other reason. I believe that both possibilities are entirely possible here, but there's a couple things that are interesting. For one, there's the sword's grip, which resembles the moon's eye icon. There's also the hilt of the blade and the VFX visible upon hitting the weapon's critical attack, both of which feature Suncross iconography. Interesting visuals aside, there's also the fact that the Kindred Edict's description places emphasis on bathing something in ichor multiple times, claiming that a weapon bathed 3 times in celestial blood is an honor and symbol of status. However, this could possibly allude to the effects of celestial blood or ichor multiplying in strength depending on how many times one bathes within it. It's entirely possible that the Starkindred eventually grow dependent on ichor intake, and when they get deprived of this ichor, they wither away into the state that you see the maljurers in. However, I've come to a different conclusion. I think it's far more likely that the maljurers have been subjected to the exact opposite, either as a punishment or by way of their own greed. I believe that the maljurers have in fact been exposed to too much ichor and thus wither into nothingness, unable to contain the power of the stars. This would explain their constant dialogue involving worthiness of the stars. The state of the maljurers invokes an ancient Greek myth actually. I believe they're inspired by the Greek myth of Icarus. For those unaware, Icarus, son of Daedalus, escaped a large tower alongside his father by soaring through the sky using wings constructed from feathers and other materials. Before the two escaped, Daedalus warned his son not to fly too low nor too high, in case the wings fell apart. However, Icarus flew too close to the sun, causing his wings to melt and resulting in his death. This tale, I feel, represents the Starkindred and maljurers perfectly. The Starkindred clearly associate celestials, the objects of their worship, with the symbol of the sun cross, hence the sun. Walk with me here. The maljurers, by consuming too much ichor one way or another, fly too close to the sun, and their wings melt. The maljurers are Icarus, and we are simply a spectator, only able to watch as the maljurers melt in the heat of the godly blood they devotedly consume. Here's your TLDR. This update's new addition is a medium weapon named the Kindred Edict. This weapon is dropped by the Maljurer, an NPC that resembles a withered Starkindred, complete with a collar resembling the Starkindred halo. Maljurer is comprised of mal and jura, likely meaning someone who's taken an oath and is bad, evil, or wrong. The Kindred Edict features both Suncross and Moon's Eye iconography. The Maljurers have likely consumed too much or too little ichor. The Maljurers align with the tale of Icarus, flying too close to the sun by consuming too much ichor in an attempt to reach the realm of celestials. Thus, just like Icarus, their wings melt away. That's all from me. Like and subscribe for more Deepwoken lore updates. Bye.